All right, everybody, welcome back to Burn Pile. Well, this is the last main episode before Christmas. There will be one on Christmas Eve for subscribers at burnpile.vip. But it's that time of year. Christmas is almost here. I live in a country where Christmas is kind of a couples holiday. It's quite different. Um, Honestly, I don't like it. It should be about families. You should have the big Thanksgiving with all the extended family. Uh, and I mean, that should be like at least 30 people, maybe even more. And then a month later, you should do it all again for Christmas. That's the way it should be. Everything else is evidence of a fallen world, and I don't care for it. So whether it's just one nuclear family being together, I mean that's fine. But is that different from just a couple being together? You know, a couple, they have all their hopes perhaps for starting such a family of their own. Is it that bad? I don't know, but I don't like any of it. I don't care for any of it. Also, we were blessed with a little bit of snow a couple weeks before, but now we've got nothing but rain. And all that's on the schedule for this week is a mix of snow and rain. I don't care for that. I want a snowy Christmas. Um, I'm going to be very disappointed if I don't get one. I don't know where you're listening to this in the world, but I hope you have one too. All right, well, we can get into some of these stories here. Um, these stories, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the world. This Rob Reiner thing, and I talked about this on the bonus episode already, but I got this story about the party, and it's all just kind of mind blowing. So, if you missed the bonus episode, I played a little bit of the interview Rob Reiner had done with Nick Reiner, his son who killed him, when they made a movie together, like kind of a heavily fictionalized version of Nick's story of being like a young addict with like a famous father. They made a movie called Being Charlie, and they like, they did the circuit, like they did like interviews, and we like, it's just this really awkward interview with him and his son. Very bizarre stuff. Very weird, but I'm not just going to repeat that. We've got this story here now from NBCNews.com. This is about the party that I guess set off the son. They're saying now the son had schizophrenia, that he wasn't just an addict, but he's also schizophrenic. How come if you're if you're from a connected, wealthy Jewish family, I guess you can be a schizophrenic heroin addict and you still get your screenplay made by your dad. I mean, how many people out there have a screenplay that's better than Being Charlie was? How many people out there? How many Gentiles have a screenplay they're sitting on, and no matter what happens, they would not murder the director who goes on to make their screenplay. I mean, come on, come on here, people. I actually do have Being Charlie on my list, and I am going to watch it. What's holding me back is the holidays, because I can't watch like Miracle on 34th Street, on Tuesday, and then watch this weird bad movie that I'm only watching because the writer murdered the director. I can't watch that like on Wednesday, right? I can't like, oh, it's Christmas Eve, time to watch this. I am being a little bit gay. I'm kind of holding back. That's more of a It's more of a December 26th kind of movie. It's more of a, that lovely dead zone between Christmas and New Year's. That's what that movie's made for. I encourage everyone to watch Being Charlie at that time. All right, let's Let's read here. Reiner's son made guests uneasy at party day before his parents were found dead, sources say. Two sources told NBC News that Nick Reiner, 32, interrupted a conversation at the party, which was hosted by comedian Conan O'Brien. This is so. God, remember Conan? I don't hate Conan. When I was like a kid and I would watch Conan sometimes, I thought Conan was obviously really, really funny. For a long time, I thought he was the best of them, but it was actually, for me, it was David Letterman a little bit more. Just, I guess, because my dad was into Letterman and I started watching him from a younger age. I liked Letterman more. Conan, I haven't watched Conan in like maybe 20 years. I don't know. It's been forever since I watched Conan. I just remember during the first Trump presidency when Trump called Haiti a shithole, and Conan O'Brien's response to that was to go to like a really amazing exclusive resort for rich people in Haiti and film it. And that was his big dunk on Trump. Was like, the look how amazing Haiti's actually an amazing country. You get served like high quality food in this enclave. That's really, it's like, it's such a weird thing to do. And there's nothing wrong. I'm not so like ideologically driven that I don't understand someone saying like, hey, the president of the United States should not be calling Haiti a shithole. That's not right. Like a person with a whole lot of empathy, a person who would tend to vote Democrat, I don't think they're totally out of their minds for not liking someone calling a place someone's from a shithole. Now, it clearly is that, but I don't mind the president saying that. In fact, I like it. But I understand. I understand being uncomfortable with that and not liking it and not appreciating it and getting a little pissed off that he would say something like that because it's rude. It's rude to Haiti, it's rude to Haitian people, whatever. I understand that line of thinking. But what I don't understand is ever in a million years thinking that you would use your media platform to go to a resort and take photos about how pretty the resort is there. Like that is seriously badly out of touch. Like that is really that's the kind of thing you do when you have no normal people in your life. Like if you have all Hollywood people in your life, that's the kind of idea you would say and everyone would be like, "Yeah," and you'd go do it. Whereas if you had like one normal middle class person in your life, even like left wing one, they would be like, "Oh, you can't do that. That's clearly retarded." Right? Conan, what else did he do? Yeah, he had Bill Burr on after he was doing some kind of live show. I don't even know if the Conan O'Brien show is that even still a thing, like his late night show. But whatever, his internet show, podcast, whatever. He was interviewing Bill Burr after the whole Riyadh Comedy Festival thing in front of a live audience and Bill Burr was saying like, "Oh, I'm so smart and going to Riyadh was actually great. And if you think that I'm morally inconsistent for going to Riyadh, that's because you think everybody in the Middle East is a terrorist." And Conan just kind of let it happen, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Conan, so he's a funny guy. I don't hate him, but he is a bit of an idiot. So it's very funny that this happened here. Very, very cool. Okay, let's read here. Los Angeles, Nick Reiner had been disruptive at a holiday party Saturday with his parents Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner, according to two people familiar with the situation, just hours before they were found dead in their Los Angeles home. Nick Reiner, who was arrested Sunday and later booked on suspicion of murder, made other guests uncomfortable with his behavior at the holiday party, which was hosted by comedian Conan O'Brien, one person said. Another person said Reiner's parents were upset and embarrassed about their son's behavior at the party and expressed worries about his health. Yes, well, they would be more upset later on that evening. The two people asked that their names be withheld, blah, 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 blah. Come on, reuse your real name at this point. Like, I get that there's a code of silence around, hey, you know what? If it's just good manners and it's good common sense, if you were invited to a party at a celebrity's house, the right thing to do, if you ever want to be invited to any other kind of party at any other famous person's house, is to keep your mouth shut. So somebody does something embarrassing, because you need this whole ecosystem of parties where there are celebrities, but they don't feel as self-conscious. They don't feel like, if they trip on the stairs, that they're gonna, that's going to be in the newspaper the next day. Something slightly embarrassing happens at the party. I understand the culture of there being some silence around these things. I understand it. Makes perfect sense. I get it. However, however, if it's not, George Clooney spilled his drink on this lady's dress, and he fumbled, and he didn't get the apology right, and he looked really embarrassed, and he turned red, and some people laughed at him, and it's like, yeah, don't talk about that, and if you do, withhold your name, because you're never getting invited to a party again, because I want George Clooney to feel comfortable coming to my house for the party, right? And it's not going to work if people are just there tattling on everybody. But this is a lot different than that. I mean, the son freaked out, and then later that night he'd stabbed the parents to death, and he freaked out at the party with the parents. You can use your real name. I mean, this is extenuating circumstances. You should just, you can be wide open about what happened at this point. I mean, anything, if you had to go tell the police the story, you can go ahead and tell the story. You use your real name to NBC News. I mean, come on. They got it. Do you even want to go to the next party? You want to go to the next Conan O'Brien Christmas party so bad that you're going to be like this? I mean, I would be like, you know what? I'm actually moving to Connecticut, and I'm finished with all of Hollywood, and I don't even want to think about another Hollywood Christmas party. That's what I would think. You get invited to one of these things, and all these people you've seen on TV who you think are better than you, and they have all these millions of dollars and everything, and then the junkie son has a blow up with the parents and then stabs them to death. If I wanted to to go to a party with white trash heroin addicts blowing up at their parents, I'd just go back to New Jersey. I mean, you don't need a mansion for that kind of party. All right. The deaths of Rob Reiner, a legendary actor and filmmaker, and his wife Michelle, blah, blah, blah. Okay, skip that paragraph. A representative for O'Brien did not immediately respond to a request for comment. You got to have a comment at some point. Okay. The three Reiners attended O'Brien's gathering together. One person said Nick Reiner had at least one interaction that left partygoers concerned. He is alleged to have interrupted a conversation involving comedian Bill Hader. When Hader told him the conversation was private, the source said Nick Reiner appeared to stand still and stare before, quote, storming off. A representative for Hader did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Now, Bill Hader, isn't he the guy who on SNL, he does like all these weird, like creepy characters? He does like these really, his like eyes go big and he looks like too interested in something. I think he used to do like a Dateline character where he would he'd be like leaning in too much and he'd be too excited listening to like the horrific crimes or something. It's kind of funny that he's involved in this. Authorities have said they continue to investigate the circumstances of the deaths and are holding Nick Reiner without bail. Nick Reiner, one of four siblings, had been vocal about his experiences with rehab and addiction treatment that he started when he was 15. In 2015, Rob and Rick Reiner teamed up for the film Being Charlie. Blah blah blah. Okay, that's what I talked about. Quote, what I didn't understand was the depth of what he was going through, Rob Reiner said in a May 4th, 2016 appearance on NBC's Today Show. Oh, rough. Very bleak. Very, very bleak. Happy holidays, folks. Merry Christmas. No, I'm kidding. The Reiners were Jewish, so there's your problem. I think I don't want to sound I don't want to be speaking out of turn here. I don't want to sound cruel or unfeeling, but perhaps if the Reiner family did experience the joy of Christ, then maybe none of this would have happened. You know, I mean, lighting those menorah candles, doesn't really cut it, does it? I mean, that's not. I mean, I get it. Like they only had oil for a day, and then they got like 10 days out of it or something by doing the amount of oil that they used. But that's not really. It's not really a story of the triumph of of um of life over death, is it? I mean, it's not. It's not quite the same impact, right? I mean, it seems similar to one of Jesus's many miracles, like with the loaves and the fishes, but it doesn't quite cut it, does it? And that's why, folks, you must convert to Christianity, or else your heroin addicted son will stab you to death in your sleep. Oh, Christmas tree, how beautiful and lovely. All right, where are we going next? Where to go with this? All right, here's one I've had for a while, but I haven't gotten to. Guilty. Director who scammed Netflix out of millions faces decades behind bars. Now, this is kind of funny because speaking of Hollywood and the tribe or tribes that run Hollywood, they're saying this Nick Reiner, he's schizophrenic. He might get off. He might, insanity plea. He might be in like a cushy hospital for the criminally insane for in like a rich people version of that, I think, and kind of not go to prison. Meanwhile, the director who scammed Netflix out of a few million, he might get 20 years. All right, let's read here. After just a few hours of deliberation, a New York jury has found Carl Rinch guilty of scamming Netflix out of over $11 million over a never-finished sci-fi series. With the 47 Ronin director's fraud and money laundering trial this is not a proper sentence. What is this, Deadline.com? Who wrote this shit? Fraud and money laundering trial last just under 2 weeks. No, that's a wrong sentence. Who's the editor here? I'm going to send an email to the editor. I used to do this. I would actually, when I found errors in publications online, if it was like a real outlet, I would legitimately email them and tell them to fix the sentence because it was ridiculous. And sometimes they'll email back and fix it, actually. One time I actually got the editor of this was a it was like a foreign policy blog, not blog. It was published by like a university's like foreign policy institute, and they run this sort of daily news thing about this foreign policy issue, and they wrote, these are supposed to be like, this is like a good university, like a name brand university, especially in this field. They wrote toe the line, TOW, toe the line, like towing, like a truck like tows something, like pulls it. And it's toe the line, like with your toe, like keep your toe on the line. It means to be just barely compliant. It's TOE. And so I sent them an email about this, and I got not the author of it, but the actual like chief editor like emailed the author and told them to fix it and copied me on it. And I was like, yeah, there we go. Yes, take that. Now I know that I've done nothing with my life. I know that I didn't go to a good university and I have no insights and no one wants to see what I have to write about anything. But you made a minor mistake. And I pointed it out. That's not the most annoying thing in the world. That shows that I'm better than you. No, what a little bitch to do that. That is kind of a, now that I say it out loud, I'm much less proud of it. But I used to do stuff like that. I haven't done that for several years, but sometimes reading these sentences pisses me off. I guess it's because I read them out loud when I do this show, so I notice them even more. Okay. But so you get the point. This guy took $11 million for a Netflix series and basically didn't do it. 47 Ronin. You remember 47 Ronin? It was this really weird Keanu Reeves movie. Let me have a look at 47 Ronin. If I recall, it was a weird Keanu Reeves thing. 2013. That's older than I thought it was. I know it had like tons of I think it had tons of like CG and weird stuff like that. It's just a very bizarre like action fantasy thing with Keanu Reeves. I guess that's all this guy's ever really done. I mean, and then Netflix was willing to give him all this money for a sci-fi show. Anyway, let's keep reading here. Under the charges from the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Southern District of New York, Rynch faces up to 90 years behind bars. Uh, for wire fraud and more. But the erratic filmmaker will undoubtedly receive a sentence far less from Judge Jed Rakoff. Quote, Carl Eric Rynch took $11 million meant for a TV show and gambled it on speculative stock options and crypto transactions, said U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton Thursday after the verdict came down. Today's conviction shows that when someone steals from investors, we will follow the money and hold them accountable. That is a really cool kind of high tea thing to do, to just like tell Netflix you need 11 million to make a TV show and then just kind of gamble it. Just sort of like put it all in like Bitcoin or something. Kind of cool. You know, people don't do enough stuff like that, honestly. That's cool stuff to do. Now, in this case, it sounds like it didn't work out. But what if he doubled up? He gives Netflix their money back, and he's got 11 million for himself now, and he doesn't have to make the sci-fi series. That would be pretty cool, right? A sentencing hearing for Rynch, who is represented by a combo of private lawyers and public defenders, has been set for April 17th, 2026. Why does he have a combo of private lawyers and public defenders? How does that work? I mean, I truly don't know. I thought if you couldn't afford a private lawyer, then you got a public defender. I thought you couldn't be like, we're going to team up. Doesn't seem right. Government prosecutors stated in their indictment of earlier this year that Rynch, quote, knowingly having devised and intending to devise a scheme, an artifice to defraud, and for obtaining money and property by means of false and fraudulent pretenses. Okay. Taking the rare defendant move of testifying on his own behalf during the sometimes bizarre trial, Rynch had entered a not guilty plea and insisted the millions he got from Netflix, on top of the tens of millions he had already received for never completed and ballooning Android drama White Horse Conquest, was to pay off money of his own he'd put into the project. Vouched for in part by 47 Ronin star Keanu Reeves going into the making of the ambitious White Horse, Rynch told the court he was using some of the material he had already shot for leverage for a second season from the streamer. Okay, I don't really see how that works. I can't really wrap my head around that. But anyway, we don't have to keep going on with this. Just a fun little story. Just a guy out there doing a scam. I mean, do I really care about Netflix? Should Netflix have any rights? Netflix is trying to charge you like $50 a month and have ads. Like, isn't there a? I don't know. I haven't had Netflix in many years, but isn't there like an ad supported version of Netflix now, which is horrific. I mean, it's disgusting. So you pay a little bit and you also have ads, which is it's terrible. That like just watch regular TV at that point. Just get out the antenna and just watch regular TV. But the prices keep creeping up. So like the most premium Netflix subscription you can get today with no ads and all the 4K or whatever bells and whistles in 5 years you're gonna have to pay that amount to still get ads, and the version without ads will be like $100 a month or something. It's horrific. So I hope people rip off Netflix. I hope bad things happen to them. They're just bad. Oh, I should say I should say I hate Netflix for their trans children's programming, right? Isn't that the angle you're supposed to take? Like Netflix is bad because of the trans characters in children's TV. And actually, now that I remember, I think I did stop my Netflix subscription when I saw that like Babysitters Club episode with the trans child, and I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to give them money. But I actually kind of forgot about that, and now all I can think about is them showing ads. You know what? So okay, here's the deal, Netflix. You can have all the trans kids you want, but you gotta just get rid of the ad supported tier. You've got to do like a 10-year price freeze, and you've got to get rid of the ad supported tier. And but all the trans kids you want, and then I'll come back. Okay, that's the deal. I know I got to give you something. I can't get something for nothing. No, I'm kidding. I pirate everything. I don't understand people who don't pirate things, by the way. And if you're really, really worried about it, a VPN subscription is $5 a month. If you want to go with Mulvad, which is, I guess, the only VPN that's not owned by like Israeli intelligence, it's still $5 a month. It's $6 a month if you do it through Google Play, which is what I do for my mobile devices. And then you pirate everything, and then you never have to think about it. Is this I think you get kicked off YouTube if you say that. So that was a joke. I didn't mention any programs that you use other than use a VPN, but that was a joke. Obviously, you should never pirate anything. Pirating anything that was made by hardworking elites in Hollywood, it's equivalent to another Holocaust. It's a horrific crime. You shouldn't do it. Never do anything like that. Okay. All right, let's break it up with here's one. This is one I've been really looking forward to. This as soon as I saw this, a listener sent me this one, and I don't know how I didn't see it first. This is perfect. From CNN.com, Harvard morgue manager who sold body parts like baubles gets 8-year prison term. And they've got a picture of him here. His name is Cedric Lodge, and he's an old, obese black guy, old, bald, obese black guy. If you're just listening, with glasses. So this is the guy when you donate your body to science. This is the guy Harvard put in charge of it. All right. Let's read. A former manager of the Harvard Medical School morgue in Boston was sentenced to 8 years in prison for stealing and selling body parts as if they were baubles. Authorities said Cedric Lodge, 8 years? You get 90 years if you steal money from Netflix. But if you just steal fingers and toes from Goyim, you get 8. You get less than a tenth of that. All right. Authorities said Cedric Lodge was at the center of a ghoulish scheme in which he shipped brains, skin, hands, and faces to buyers in Pennsylvania and elsewhere after cadavers donated to Harvard were no longer needed for research. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, right, the university, like these are donated bodies. Harvard Medical School is using them for research. They are using them for legitimate scientific purposes. And probably Harvard gets the most donations because they're the most prestigious. And maybe some other smaller schools have trouble, smaller medical schools, getting the bodies that they need to train their medical staff or, that kind of thing. And so maybe this guy, he was taking some money under the table, but then he was giving the parts to the other medical schools, and obviously it's not above board, it's not good, but it's, you can kind of see what's going on, you can see some logic to it. It's more of a fraud case than anything really gross and disgusting. That's what you might be thinking right now, right? But let's keep reading. In one example, Cedric Lodge provided skin to a buyer so it could be tanned into leather and bound into a book. A quote, deeply horrifying reality, Assistant U.S. Attorney Allison Martin said in a court filing. What was the book? Is that guy going to get prosecuted or what? I guess there's two possibilities here. The one was that they maybe did they no, I guess it wouldn't be. I was going to say maybe a setup, maybe like a sting thing, and sort of the FBI agent says like the worst possible purpose for it, and then he says, "Okay, give me the money," and then they've got him, but I guess it's not that because they said he provided it, right? And I think they would have stopped him from providing it if it had been a setup. So I guess it was real. I guess they really did it. He provided skin for a book. What was the book? Do you think the book is like, I mean, it's got to be some kind of Satanist thing, right? Who else wants that? It's probably some weird, one of those really weird, lame, gay, like PDFs you can find. But this guy's like, he's got some first edition of it, some, I don't know, not Crowley, something maybe more underground than that, but probably pretty lame. You got to think it sucks. It's probably not even a book that you couldn't find on like archive.org. It's probably like a piece of shit. So he's got his what if the guy's like, he just like is printed out. It's like a PDF that he's printed out on like his own printer, but he's got to like bind it in human skin. I mean, I don't know. I got to know what the book is though. I really wonder what it is. It's got to be some kind of Church of Satan horse shit, right? It's got to be. I can't believe he's only getting 8 years for this. This sucks so much. All right, let's keep reading. This is another quote. In another, Cedric and Denise Lodge sold a man's face, perhaps to be kept on a shelf, perhaps to be used for something even more disturbing, Martin said. Yeah, that buyer, by the way, Hillary Clinton. She said Lodge, 58, of Goffstown, New Hampshire, treated the parts of, quote, beloved human beings as if they were baubles to be sold for profit, and collected thousands of dollars from 2018 through March 2020. After Harvard finishes using a donated body for research or teaching, the body typically is returned to family or cremated. Lodge acknowledged removing body parts before cremation. Oof. Lodge, who was a morgue manager for 28 years, expressed regret in court. Defense attorney Patrick Casey said his acts were, quote, egregious. Now this pussing out at the end, I hate this when people do this. once you're caught, you can't express regret. Okay, there's no way that this guy who sold skin, who sold a human being's skin to be tanned to be used to bind a book of Satan or whatever, there's absolutely a 0% chance that that guy feels deep regret right now. There's just no way. There's no way. It's not possible. I mean, God knows his heart, but it just sucks so much. I wish that if he said no, I regret nothing, half of me would want him to be executed. Half of me kind of wants him uh to run for office. I mean, half of me wants him to get a cabinet appointment or something. I mean, isn't this how like half Trump's cabinet was selected? Something like this. I mean, that's not like you want Venezuela to surrender. I mean, this is the kind of guy, and it's a diversity hire. It's a DEI hire. He's black. You get points for that. Um, but when you express regret, it all falls apart. It's very gay. Mr. Lodge acknowledges the seriousness of his conduct and the harm his actions have inflicted. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Hopefully they go after the bookbinding guy. Very curious about the bookbinding. Really want to find more out about that. Okay, well, thank you for that, listener, for sending me that. Fantastic story. Very, very cool. All right, what are we going to do next? Let's go to Breitbart. I don't often use Breitbart, but here we go. Exclusive Patriots of the Caribbean. Senator Mike Lee bill authorizes privateers to combat cartels outside of U.S. borders. Senator Mike Lee introduced legislation Thursday that would allow private entities to stop drug cartel smuggling and violence. The Cartel Marque and Reprisal Reauthorization Act authorizes President Donald Trump to commission American operators under letters of marque to seize cartel property and persons on land or sea outside the United States. Representative Tim Burchett introduced the House version of the legislation. Lee gave a nod to history in calling for the enabling of private citizens to take the fight against pirates, noting that Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11 of the Constitution authorizes Congress to grant letters of marque and reprisal. Quote, the Constitution provides for letters of marque and reprisal as a tool against the enemies of the United States, Lee said. Cartels have replaced corsairs in the modern era, but we can still give private American citizens and their businesses a stake in the fight against these murderous foreign criminals. The Cartel Marque and Reprisal Reauthorization Act will revive this historic practice to defend our shores and seize cartel assets. Now, what could go wrong with a plan like this? You take all these American veterans that we have, maybe they're struggling to find like a normal, real career, and you authorize them to go on a killing spree. What could go wrong? No, I'm not a libcuck. Don't worry. This sounds, it sounds like a fantasy. I don't know if it would actually work. I do hope that they do it. The one thing that gives me a little bit of pause with this is that it said they could do it like on land or sea outside of the United States. It sounds like they can kind of just privately invade. Land or sea? I mean, you're telling me you'll have a group of like heavily armed American men with military experience and the kind of guys who who liked it and liked that kind of thing. These high tea guys, because not every veteran is like that. Like, they go on lots of them use the GI Bill to go to college. They have these normal civilian careers. But there's a type of guy who just, even if he's out of the military, never got over it. That's the kind of guy who would be doing this. And I'm not going to say he's a retard. God bless him. But, he's talented in some ways and not in others, perhaps we could say. Uh, I don't fully see the vision. Like, they're going to. I mean, we got drones blowing up the Venezuelan cartel boats, right? Which may or may not be fishermen. Well, we got drones blowing those up. Okay, so you got some of those boats, and you could say, well, we're not going to blow them up with drones anymore. We're going to have them get raped to death by these psychos. Um, hey, that's fine. That makes sense. And then they seize the drugs. Well, here's the first problem with it. These really amped up high tea guys seize the drugs or the cash or whatever. I mean, it seems like you could perhaps call me crazy. Perhaps you could create a monster here and doing this. I mean, maybe not, but okay. You know what? At least you'd get like a mostly white cartel out of it. But the other thing is like they're authorized to do it on land too. So like if they track the smugglers like to some island that's owned by some South American country, they're allowed to what? Just like storm it? They're allowed to like land there and storm it and kill everybody there, and then that's going to create endless problems. Like it's bad enough when the military does anything and like a civilian dies, but there's going to be like an island that's like a bloodbath and there's like 50 dead bodies there, and it's going to be there were some like women and children there or something, and you're going to have some like Jesse Ventura type guy, and he's going to be like, well, they were the women and children were dead when we got there. They shot the women and children. And the other country is going to have a complaint about that, and it's going to be a huge international incident. I don't quite see this working out. I mean, hey, you know what? Call me a libcock, call me a faggot. I want it to work out. It's a lovely idea. I wouldn't say no to some kind of desk job with with one of these groups. Like if somebody got a letter of marque and formed a company and they like, we need the toughest badasses to go after these criminals in South America. I'd be like, okay, do you guys need like a dry cleaner too, or do you guys need someone to do the website? do you, do you guys want someone to handle merch? That would be me. I mean, I'm a total pussy. Don't get me wrong. But my point is, I don't really have a huge moral objection. It just seems like it wouldn't work out. I mean, it seems like a bad idea to me. To me, it seems like a bad idea. All right. Okay, let's move on there. If you get a letter of marque, please let me know. I want to interview you on the show. No, I'm sure this bill's going to get killed, but if it does go through, I'd love to have someone who's out there doing it, and they can kind of co-host the show with me from an undisclosed like pirate ship, basically. Yeah, or are they gonna live on a ship for like years at a time? Like, what are they gonna do? I mean, it's getting very Metal Gear. I don't know if you guys played the Metal Gear games, but very Metal Gear. All right. Let's move on to the UK. UK to encourage Apple and Google to put nudity blocking systems on phones. The UK government reportedly will, quote, encourage Apple and Google to prevent phones from displaying nude images, except when users verify that they are adults. So you say, well, what's the problem with this? It's kind of like, blocking porn websites or whatever. And that's good or that's bad. I don't think governments should really be blocking websites, but I understand. Like, I think in like some states in the U.S., you have to verify your identity to watch porn. So like right before you go watch like some lady boys fucking each other in the ass, you have to like take a picture of your face and your government ID and send it to the Mossad, and then they turn your webcam on and watch you jerk off to that, so that you'll support our greatest ally. Basically, that's like the new rule in all the red states. Which, hey, that's fine. Protect the kids, right? That's good. But this is a step further than that, because this is not just blocking porn websites. It's using the computational power on the device itself to detect if there is nudity on the screen of any kind, and then to censor that. Now, why is this interesting? This is interesting to me. Remember the story about Samsung that I said? I don't think I maybe had a story, but I went off about this about Samsung. This is from years ago. Samsung had this new, like, really, really long range, supposedly lens on their devices, and on their phones. And the example that they like to give was if you zoomed into the moon and took a picture of the moon, you would get this really gorgeously detailed photo of the moon. And then this guy ran this experiment where he took like a super 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 high res image of the moon, like one from the internet, I think, and he downloaded it, and then he kind of like he deliberately like removed the detail. I don't remember exactly what he did, but he deliberately removed the detail, right? So that there was absolutely none of that detail in the image itself. And then he put that on his computer monitor, and then he used his Samsung phone and he took a photo of the moon on his computer monitor, and it had all that gorgeous detail there, thus proving that those are fake. That Samsung had trained the AI on the phone to fill in all the moon details and make a beautiful photo, but a fake photo. Right? And I said that's interesting because I think that the ultimate goal, that the lesson a certain faction that wants to rule the world has taken, is that like the lesson of BLM and the Summer of Floyd was that everybody having these phones is no good, right? Because that imagery really, the imagery of the riots and everything really tore that narrative to shreds. When they're, I think it's going to be like, and it's still going on, like videos of a certain kind of person doing a certain kind of thing. It really, really, really does not look good, and red pills a lot of people. And I think the ultimate goal is going to be like you see like somebody, you see like a black person like beating the shit out of a woman and taking her purse. You take out your phone to record it, and then you look at the recording later and you see something else. This is like connected to that, I think, where it's like they're trying to normalize the device on your phone analyzing the images that you see in real time. So this is like the opposite end of the spectrum, where somebody's got a phone with a normal camera on it that doesn't do that kind of thing. They take a video of something happening that's not politically correct, and then when you open it up on Twitter, and even if like Elon Musk or someone based controls Twitter, you open it up on your phone, and the image that you see is different. The video that plays for you is like it's blocked like on the phone, or it's censored on the phone. It's kind of like decentralized censorship because it's on every device. And that, obviously it's just for nudity right now, but developing this technology is the scary thing to me. Okay. The forthcoming push for nudity blocking systems was reported by the Financial Times today. The report said the UK won't institute a legal requirement, quote, for now. But asking companies to block nude images could be the first step toward making it mandatory if the government doesn't get what it wants. So, how long until it's blocking hateful images? That's the point. Because it's the same technology. It's like when North Korea says they want to have a peaceful space program, right? But like an ICBM and a space-going rocket, it's basically the same technology. That's the worrying thing. Quote, the UK government wants technology companies to block explicit images on phones and computers by default to protect children, with adults having to verify their age to create and access such content. Hey, do you want to watch this photo of black teenagers breaking into the store and walking away with like $10 million worth of iPhones or whatever? You can watch it. You can. But first, I'm going to need you to take a photo of your face and of your government ID. Okay? You got a problem with that? You cool with that? Ministers want the likes of Apple and Google to incorporate nudity detection algorithms into their device operating systems to prevent users taking photos or sharing images of genitalia unless they are verified as adults. If the UK gets its way, operating systems like iOS and Android would prevent any nudity being displayed on screen unless the user has verified they are an adult through methods such as biometric checks or official ID. Child sex offenders would be required to keep such blockers enabled. Oh, you don't like this? What, you want the child sex offenders to be able to look at nude photos? You see how they try to get this stuff in? They're always trying to slip in this evil shit. How about you don't have any control over what I look at or read or do? How's that sound? Oh, really? You don't want any control? So you want child sex offenders to do whatever they want? Oh, really? You want the police to have a warrant before they look in your house? So you want kidnapped children who are chained up in their basement to stay there? Because if the government allowed the police to do a search of every home today, they would probably find some horrific things, some children chained up and all that kind of stuff, you know? Because there's like, what, 360 million people in America. So if you had the government just have the police knock on every door, they go into every house and they check it out, right? And they're looking for kidnapped children. Would you be okay with that? Because they would definitely find some kidnapped children. So is it worth it? If you're against that, are you pro children being kidnapped? I mean, that's what this is. And then they're like, yeah, we're going to take control of everything that's displayed on this device that's everyone's window into the world. What are you, some kind of child molester? You don't like that? That's what they do. These fucking people. Fuck them. All right. Any more I want to say about this? I think I made my point. I'm so much better than these articles. These articles totally miss what's actually going on. Only I, the enlightened genius, Wizard Cat, can tell you what's actually happening. Okay, I did have another story here. I think I already did it. There's I don't know. I think I may have already mentioned this. 40% of students at Stanford are getting extra time on their tests. This has been reported several different places. The Atlantic had it, but some other outlets did as well. 40% of students at even elite colleges like Stanford are getting a note from their doctor saying that they're retarded and that they deserve like an extra hour to take their test from everybody else. It's disgusting. It's people who think America is a currency and a university. It's just a system to be gamed, and they're going to. I thought of it because of that Harvard story I had, where the Harvard grade inflation story, and the Harvard students were complaining, where they say they can't relax and enjoy Harvard like they should, because in their minds they gave up their childhood to get into Harvard, and they're and now and now it's over, and now they should just have a great time at Harvard and have a beautiful life with high paying jobs and all that. It's the same thing where it's just like, hey, I'm entitled to get the good grades at the elite college. I gave up my time as a kid to get into it. It's gross. I hate these people. I hate everything. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. If you're subscribed over at burnpile.vip, then, of course, we'll have a Christmas Eve show. And if not, then I'll see you next week. And I think I'm not totally married to this idea, but I think I might be maybe doing some of my my favorite episodes. Not my favorite episodes, my favorite stories from last year. So it'll be so after Christmas, you'll be thinking about how your year ended, all of that, and you can sit down with me, and I'll catalog off the worst incidences of child abuse and organ harvesting and governments taking like truly demonic and satanic actions, and it'll just be a nice way to kind of wind down the year and relax, right? Don't you don't you think so? I'm also thinking about if there's some way I could maybe publish all my show notes with all the links in some kind of way, but I'm not totally sure about that either. But anyway, okay, that's it, everybody. I'll see you next time, and if you're not signed up at burnpile.vip, then I'll wish you a Merry Christmas right now. Okay, that's it. Bye.
I'm not a decent guy. I am not touching grass. I don't even go outside. I live underground at my mother's house, and I can't say when I logged in because I never log out. I'm extremely online, and I'm mad. I'm extremely online, and I'm sad. I'm extremely online, and I have so many feelings, and I'm also racist. Yeah! Oh yeah, I'm fucking racist as hell. I'm an incel bitch, and the N-bomb is about to drop. Yeah, yeah! I'm extremely